Very quick disclaimer. My sister was running circles around my room, just opening, closing doors. So there's gonna be a lot of creaking, a lot of noises. And if you could just ignore that and ignore her head popping in and out of the screen, I would appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Stop relying on other people for your happiness. It's actually very pathetic when you do that. And if no one around you wants to make you realize that, I will. So, you do not know how sad it is for you to be dependent on someone. You won't even realize it because a lot of the time people won't tell you when you're doing it. When your entire mood relies on how someone else's feels, doesn't that just aren't you just do you just not see how crazy that sounds? The fact that someone sending you a good morning text determines what your feelings are gonna be for the entire day. Don't you see how weird and crazy that is? I mean, what? And if you are like this, it needs to change, because what if that person leaves you? Then what? Let's be so honest with ourselves. People that you know now, you're not gonna know for the rest of your entire life. So when you put your all into someone that you've only known for a few while, first off, and then that person leaves you and now you're stuck. And you also have to realize that when you do this, that person most likely 99% of the time feels uncomfortable. You are making that person feel unsafe. You're making that person feel burdened, because they'll probably realize how their actions depict the mood that you are in. So now they have to always be worried about oh, I have to act a certain way around you to make sure that you're not upset or I don't hurt your feelings. You're burdening that person. You're making that person feel type of weird, like they can't breathe properly. And you are also just being weird. This is in no way to sound harsh or mean, but I just generally want people to realize how hurtful being dependent on someone is. Not only to you, but to that person specifically. Being so dependent on somebody that the slightest thing that they do causes you to have a mental breakdown. You feel like you're about to die. You want to just off yourself. It becomes a certain point where being clingy is not being clingy anymore. You're just attached to that person. And it's just toxic. It's very, very toxic. A lot of people on social media romanticize a relationship like this, where one person is completely dependent on the other person. And I don't mean financially, also financially, yeah, but it's mostly become an emotional type of thing too, where I've seen people wear collars, bow down to their partner's feet, and act like an animal, and then the partner has them on the collar. That is dehumanizing. The fact it is just it gets to a point. It gets to a point where it's just too much. You guys need to snap back into reality, because I really don't know what world you're living in. First off, if you can't make yourself happy, no one else should be making you happy. Let's start there. You need to learn the things about you that make you happy. You need to have the self-love first before you can go out chasing love from other people. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They hate themselves, but then they want someone else to love them. You don't even like yourself. Why would I like you? What? If there's things about you don't like, things you need to love yourself first before someone else can learn to love you. You can't hate yourself. Every single thing about yourself pisses you off, but then you want somebody else to appreciate those things. It doesn't make sense. The self-love just has to come first before anything else, before the romantic love, before the platonic love. The self-love has to be in there somewhere. You have to have some level of confidence. You have to like yourself even the tiniest bit before somebody else can learn to like or love you. Because when you learn to love yourself, when you truly love yourself, when you know how to make yourself happy, you won't be depending on someone else to make you happy, to love you for you. Because then that person has to love you for the both of you guys. The love you should be giving yourself, that person has to give to you, and has to give their love to you. You know what I'm trying to say here? The self-love has to come first before anything else, okay? And if you don't know how to love yourself, or you hate yourself, you think that you're ugly, you think you're this, you're that, then you really shouldn't be in a relationship, I think. That's just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? You don't have to take the advice that I give, but it's just suggestions. Because when you learn to love yourself, when you learn those things about yourself, you know how to make your heart happy without needing no one else to do it for you, then that's when a relationship can truly flourish. It can truly bond, because you're not sitting in that relationship insecure with your partner reassuring you every 2-5 seconds, which feels draining to them. Okay, reassuring somebody every single day, it is draining. Okay, I get words of affirmation, things like that, but when you're constantly bringing about yourself down, oh, I don't deserve you, oh, you deserve better than me, oh, you're too much for me, you're too good for me, at a certain point I'm gonna be like, yeah, I am too good for you. Like, now what? Like, you have to love yourself first. You need to have that confidence first, because then you guys can truly blossom and learn to love each other, but by already loving yourself, already finding the good qualities in yourself that you like, you know? And yeah, and then, you know, it will just bring about a happy and healthier relationship.